Hey there and welcome. If you're just starting out with English, you are in exactly the right place. Today we're going to tackle the single most important tense you need to start speaking with real confidence. So let's dive in.
I mean, think about it for a second. Do you want to do these things? Of course you do. This is why we learn a language, right? To introduce ourselves, to talk about our lives, to connect with people.
And here is the best part. You only need one single tool to do all of that. It's called the simple present. Seriously, it is the foundation for almost all everyday conversation in English. And today, we're going to build that foundation together, step by step. Okay, so our very first building block is the most common, most essential verb in the entire English language. You probably heard of it. It's the verb to be. It's simple, it's everywhere, and it's the perfect place to start.
So what's to be all about? Well, we use it to state facts and talk about identity. Things like who you are, what you are, or where you are. And the best part? In the present, it only has these three little forms: am, is, and are. That's it.
So how does this work in a real sentence? Well, it's super easy. For I, you always use am. I am Anna. For he or she, you use is. She is a teacher, or he is Brazilian. And for we or they or you, we use are. We are friends. See? Just simple statements of fact.
All right, but what if you want to say something is not true? This is a piece of cake. You literally just add the word not right after the verb. So I am becomes I am not. He is becomes he is not. Or even better, you can squish them together to make he isn't. Same with they are, it becomes they aren't.
Okay, so we've got positive statements and negative ones. That's great, but conversations are two-way streets, so how do we ask a question? Believe it or not, this is also incredibly simple. You don't need any new words, you just switch things around.
Check this out. If you have a statement like, you are from Brazil, all you have to do to make it a question is flip the first two words. It becomes, are you from Brazil? It's the same for everything else. She is your sister becomes, is she your sister? You just swap the subject and the verb. It's that easy.
Fantastic. You've got to be down. That's huge. So let's move on and build on that. Now we're going to talk about pretty much every other verb out there. You know, the action words. Words like speak, eat, work, and play.
Now, for most subjects, and I'm talking about I, you, we, and they, the formula is about as simple as it gets. It's just two steps. First, you pick your subject. Second, you add the verb. That's a whole recipe.
And I'm not kidding, it really is that simple. Subject, then verb. I speak English. We play football. You like pizza. Just with this one simple pattern, you can already make thousands and thousands of sentences.
Okay, now, there is one small rule we need to talk about. It's probably the only part of the simple present that can feel a little bit tricky at first, but I promise once you see the pattern, you'll get it every single time.
So here it is. For the third person singular, that's just a fancy way of saying he, she, or it, the verb needs a little s on the end. And that's it. That's the whole rule. Not for I, not for you, not for we or they. This is only for he, she, and it.
Now, how you spell that S can change just a little bit. For most verbs, you just stick an S on the end. Work becomes works. Easy. But if a verb ends in a hissing sound like sh or cha, we add es to make it easier to say. So watch becomes watches. And pay attention to verbs that end in y. If there's a consonant before it, like in study, the y changes to ies, studies.
So, what about making negatives and questions with these action verbs? Well, we can't just add not this time. We need a special helper word, the verb do. Take a look at that top row. For I, you, we, and they, we use do or don't. Do you like coffee? Simple enough. Now look at the bottom row. For he, she, and it, we use does or doesn't. But look closely. Something very important happens to the main verb here.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. When you use the helper does or doesn't, the main verb loses its S. Remember, she speaks Spanish? In the negative, it becomes she doesn't speak Spanish. The S has basically moved from the verb speak over to our helper, do, turning it into does. So the main verb always goes back to its original simple form.
All right, you've learned all the rules. You've got the verb to be, you've got the pattern for all the action verbs. The theory is done. Now for the fun part. Let's see what you can actually say. Let's put this all together and see how it works in a real conversation.
First things first, you can introduce yourself. Here we have I am Anna and I am from Italy. That's our very first building block, the verb to be, being used to share basic facts about who you are. This is the perfect way to start any conversation. Now you can talk about skills and abilities. For yourself, it's simple. Subject plus verb, I speak Portuguese. But when you talk about somebody else, like she, you got to remember our tricky rule. That's why we say she speaks English, with that S on the end. See how it works? The simple present is absolutely perfect for describing your daily routines and habits. Notice the S again for she. She wakes up at 7. But for your own routine, it's just the basic verb. I go to school on Monday. You can literally describe your entire week now. You can also share what you like and don't like. I like pizza is a simple fact about you. And now you know how to talk about what other people don't do. This is where our helper verb comes in handy. He doesn't eat fish. And notice it's eat, not eats, because our helper does is doing all the heavy lifting. And finally, you can combine all these skills to talk about the important people in your life, like your family. My father is John. We use is here because my father is just another way of saying he. And to talk about his job, another fact, we use it again. He is a doctor. You're already using multiple rules in just 2 sentences. So just take a second and think about what you've done. With this one single tense, you have unlocked the power to share who you are, describe your everyday life, and state facts about the world around you. This is the real core of daily communication.
You have the tools now. You understand the structure. You are absolutely ready to go. So, really, the only question left to ask is, what are you going to say first?